Welcome back, I am your host Joey Ziti, and now it's time for another hypothetical matchup, but this time it's going to be between the two NBA Cup winners, that being the 2023 Los Angeles Lakers and the 2024 Milwaukee Bucks. Both of these teams were undefeated in their runs and had Darvin Ham in their coaching staffs, and the stakes are higher than ever. Who would come out on top in this showdown? Stick around as I break down the strengths, strategies, and the star players of both of these teams could tip the scales in this thrilling hypothetical matchup. But before we get into that, time for a brief history lesson on both of these teams. Before we get into the 23-24 season, let's take it back to the 2022-2023 NBA season, where the Los Angeles Lakers start off the season 2-10 with Darvin Ham as their head coach and Russell Westbrook, with LeBron and AD being their three best players. It wasn't looking too good until by the trade deadline they acquired Jarred Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, and also Rui Hachimura a couple weeks prior. The new look Lakers looked hungry, but there was one problem. LeBron James was dealing with a foot injury for majority of that year, which caused him to miss majority of the time after the All-Star break. The Lakers pushing for the 7th seed and winning their play-in game against Minnesota to secure the 7th seed to match up against the 2-seeded Memphis Grizzlies. And to be honest here, everyone and their moms knew that the Los Angeles Lakers was going to win and move on in this series, with the Lakers winning in 6 games, with some competitive games here and there, but ultimately the Lakers blew it out in Game 6. And now for the series everyone was waiting for, LeBron versus Stephen Curry semifinals. Because in this second round, obviously we have LeBron versus Curry for the first time since 2018. And this series did deliver, with the Lakers finding themselves up 3-1. And even after the Warriors won Game 6, some people did think that Stephen Curry was going to pull off a 3-1 comeback, and he did not pull off that 3-1 comeback, losing Game 6 by 21 points. That game was over before it even started. But now matching up with the Denver Nuggets, and honestly without using hindsight, most people would say this was an evened out series, with Jokic and AD battling head to head, and D'Lo, Rui, and Reeves playing great all year in their first 2 rounds in the playoffs. They were excellent. This was supposed to be a great series, a very competitive series, but in Game 1, the Lakers found themselves down by 20 at one point, but in the fourth quarter, they did find something by putting Hachimura onto Jokic. But as we know now, that didn't really amount to anything. Although all 4 games were somewhat close, the Nuggets did end up sweeping the Lakers and making it to the NBA Finals to become the eventual NBA champions. But now this leads us to the 2023 offseason, where the Lakers spent it preaching about continuity and that all it took was half a year to make it to the Western Conference Finals. So all Rob Pelinka did was make marginal signings, just to improve the roster here and there, and signing on the likes of Cam Reddish, Taurean Prince, Jackson Hayes, Gabe Vincent, and Christian Wood, while re-signing Jarred Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and Hachimura. The Lakers felt unstoppable. And well, until we know that the terrorist Darvin Ham has dirty little fingers onto the team, and players that are meant to just be add-ons became starters, and for some reason Taurean Prince at one point throughout this year was playing more minutes than LeBron and Anthony Davis on some games, causing the Lakers to have a really rocky start. D'Lo and Reeves being in and out of the starting lineup. In all honesty, they have been playing great, but it looks like Darvin Ham didn't really trust them. And with Vando, Christian Wood, and Gabe Vincent basically being hurt the entire year, the Lakers were looking alright despite all of the controversies. They find themselves 2 games under 500 by the time the first in-season tournament game came around. With a record of 3-5, and now with the first NBA Cup game being against the trio of KD, Book, and Beal, it was sure to be a classic. But unfortunately, Devin Booker was injured for this game, so he did not play. But nonetheless, it was still a great game, because going into the fourth, the Lakers found themselves down by 7, and they came out swinging, because within the first 5 minutes of the quarter, they go on a 16-2 run, giving themselves a 7-point lead. But after that initial 16-2 run, the rest of the quarter was an absolute shootout, because in those last 6 minutes, the Suns put up 21 points, and the Lakers put up 17 points, in a 122-119 victory. Then their next NBA Cup game would be against the Memphis Grizzlies. And while the Grizzlies were still suffering from the loss of John Morant, who was still serving his suspension from showing a pew-pew on IG Live, this game wasn't close at all, with Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. having terrible games, shooting a combined total of 8 of 26 from the field. The Lakers blew out the Grizzlies with a 134-107 victory. And the Lakers are now 2-0 in the NBA Cup, now matching up with the Portland Trail Blazers, who are actually 1-1 in the NBA Cup games, and are suffering from trading away their franchise star in Damian Lillard just a month and a half prior. This Blazers team was 3-8 and find themselves only down by 7 going into the fourth. So there was a slight chance for an underdog story. And to put it nicely, they didn't even put up a fight, because at one point they were down by 17 and they had multiple scoreless minutes. No exaggeration, multiple scoreless minutes, with basically 9 out of the 12 minutes in the fourth quarter they did not score. It was a complete disaster, with the Lakers winning 107-95. And with one game left before advancing to the knockout rounds, the last opponent was the Utah Jazz, and let's be honest, tanking Jazz team stood no chance, with it being belt to ass from start to finish, with the Lakers outscoring them in every quarter and winning 131-99 to advance to the knockout stage with a record of 4-0. The first matchup in the knockout stage was the Phoenix Suns once again, but this time it wasn't Devin Booker who was out, it was Bradley Beal. But nonetheless, it was still a great game, because in the fourth quarter, the Lakers are only up by 1 point, and the entire fourth quarter, both the Los Angeles Lakers and the Phoenix Suns were going back and forth, and no team could pull ahead. Well, until the last 30 seconds, with the Lakers only up by 3 points, and Devin Booker gets right by LeBron for an easy layup to make it a 1-point game. And well, to respond, the Lakers only up by 1 with little less than 30 seconds to go. It wasn't LeBron, it wasn't Anthony Davis, it was none other than Captain America himself, Austin Reeves, who hits a dagger 3 to put the Lakers up by 4. And usually against any other team, it would be like, okay, you know what, there's like 25 seconds left, Lakers up by 4, most likely they'll pull out this game without any hitches. And when one of the greatest scorers of all time gets the ball, anything can happen. Kevin Durant hits a tough layup to bring the lead down to 2 points yet again. And now for the most controversial play of the game. What happened first? Did the Suns steal the ball from Austin Reeves, or did LeBron call a timeout? I personally think, Laker bias, that the timeout was called first, and the timeout was rewarded to the Lakers, and AD hit 2 big free throws, I wish he could do that now, to seal the game. And to move on to the semifinals to match up with the Zion Williamson New Orleans Pelicans, who were surprisingly healthy and playing decently to this point, because in the first quarter it felt like a head-to-head matchup between LeBron and Zion. But after that first quarter, all the hype for this game was just gone. The Lakers outscored the Pelicans by 14 points in the second quarter, and the third quarter is really where the Lakers blew the game open, where they went on a 43-17 run to move on to the NBA Cup Finals to match up with the red-hot, most surprising team to start the year, with their star player doing unbelievable things in Tyrese Halliburton. The Lakers are 17-13 at this point, being 6-0 in the NBA Cup, and the Pacers are 15-15, also being 6-0. It was the battle of the undefeated teams. And by the end of the first quarter, the Lakers find themselves up by 5 points on the back of Anthony Davis, who had 13 points and 8 rebounds. But Tyrese Halliburton, on the other hand, couldn't hit shit in that first quarter. He looked lost, only taking 3 shots, going 1 for 3 from the field with 2 turnovers. It was looking like a disaster. But in the second quarter, it wasn't AD or Bron who took over. It was Austin Reeves who shot 3 for 3 from 3 with 15 points in the quarter, and Tyrese Halliburton is still struggling once again, only taking 1 shot in the quarter. The Lakers still leading by 5, the 65-60 lead going into halftime. The third quarter is more of the same, but this time it was the Lakers stars leading the charge, scoring 18 out of 25 points in that quarter. But Tyrese Halliburton finally found his rhythm, shooting a 3 for 3 from the field with 8 points and 3 assists. The Lakers now being only up by 8 going into the fourth. To not sugarcoat things here, the Pacers had no answer for Anthony Davis, because yet again he had another double-digit quarter. That would be his 3rd double-digit quarter in this game, with 14 points and 4 rebounds, just for Tyrese Halliburton to have to go 2 for 6 from the field, scoring 5 points. The Lakers outscoring them in the quarter by 6 to win the first ever NBA Cup, the victory of 123-109, with Anthony Davis leading the charge with 40 points and 14 rebounds to lead the Los Angeles Lakers to their first ever NBA Cup championship, with LeBron James being named NBA Cup MVP. The Milwaukee Bucks, led by one of the greatest players of our generation in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was an MVP candidate in the 2024-2025 season, while helping the Bucks climb their way back up the standings from being down at one point the 14th seed in the East. But what led the Bucks to that very moment, to their very rock bottom? To get to that, we have to go back to the 2023-2024 season where the Bucks got up to a 30-13 record, which was the second seed out East, and they were dominant on the court. But behind the scenes, there was a different story, with the Bucks firing Adrian Griffin after 43 games and hiring the human walnut and Doc Rivers to take control. After Doc came into power in the 39 games he was there, the Bucks went 18-21, falling to the third seed, being one game behind the New York Knicks with a record of 49-33 to match up against the red-hot Indiana Pacers team led by Tyrese Halliburton. And these two teams have had a heated history throughout this regular season, with the whole game ball situation after Giannis dropped 60 on them, and Tyrese Halliburton taunting Damian Lillard with the infamous Dame time during the NBA Cup last year. But the worst part about the series, everyone was looking forward to this rematch, but Giannis Antetokounmpo would miss the entire series with a calf injury. But nonetheless, the series was good, with Chris Middleton turning into Kobe Bryant when the Bucks needed him the most, scoring 42 points in Game 3, but it still wasn't enough because the Pacers did pull out Game 3 and 4, going up 3-1 on the Milwaukee Bucks. In a do-or-die game against the Bucks, it wasn't Middleton, it wasn't Dame who showed up, it was Brook Lopez who scored 27 points to force a Game 6. That would be the final thing the Bucks would force. So the Pacers would end up winning Game 6 with Pascal Siakam dominating the entire series to send the Bucks home in round 1, losing to the Pacers 4-2. But now it's the 2024-2025 season and a fresh slate for the Milwaukee Bucks. Throughout the offseason, they acquired Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince, and also signing Darvin Ham as their assistant coach once again. The Bucks didn't really have that much expectations going into the year, especially with the Giannis and Dame report before the season started, saying that they did not work out together all year, and it showed throughout their first 10 games. The Bucks started off 2-8 and were the 13th seed in the East. But it was not looking too good, and their third win came in the first NBA Cup game of the season against the taken Toronto Raptors, which was a needed win. And winning that game they did. 98-85, the Milwaukee Bucks being dominant from start to finish. And now for their second NBA Cup game, with the Bucks picking up some steam, now being 7-9, but now they match up against their rivals once again in the Indiana Pacers. And to start this game, Giannis made his presence felt. Giannis scored 13 points in the first to take a 12-point lead going into the second. And in that second quarter, Pacers didn't do good to fight back because now they are down 14. And for the rest of this game, the Pacers couldn't figure it out, losing 129-117. The Bucks are now catching fire again, because now this time in their third NBA Cup game, they match up against a Miami Heat team who has been struggling all year. And to add insult to injury to the Bucks, Giannis didn't end up playing this game. But when Giannis isn't there, it is Dame's time to lock in, and Dame was letting it fly from all cylinders, because in the first quarter, he shot 4 for 5 from 3, putting up 17 points to set the tone. It was a good defensive game throughout, and with less than 45 seconds left, the Heat find themselves down by 4. Terry Rozier hits a big 3 to knock it down, but that would be the last points the Heat will score. The Bucks would end up pulling out this game 104-101, with Dame having 37 points. The Bucks are now 3-0 and one of the toughest group stages, matching up with the Detroit Pistons. And now for their fourth and final NBA Cup game before moving on to the knockout stages, they match up with the Detroit Pistons. And do I have to explain what happened? And we all could have guessed it. It was belt to ass from start to finish, with the Bucks winning this game 128-107 to move on with a 4-0 record. This is where it gets interesting. They are now playing a Orlando Magic team without Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, and everyone would have thought this would be a cakewalk for the Milwaukee Bucks. But the Magic were fighting regardless, being up by 8 points at the end of the first quarter, and Dame and Giannis locked in for the rest of the game, putting up a combined total of 68 points to lead the Bucks to a 114-109 victory to pass the Orlando Magic, now with only the Atlanta Hawks in their way to make it to the NBA Cup final. And mind you, this Hawks team has beaten Boston not once, but twice. So this was not gonna be a cakewalk for the Bucks, and it wasn't. The Trae Young in this game had 35 points and 10 assists, and the Hawks were hanging around the entire game, but it was not enough. Giannis scored 10 points in the fourth quarter to close it out, and him and Dame combined for a total of 57 points throughout this game to send the Milwaukee Bucks to the NBA Cup Finals. And now the Milwaukee Bucks face against their most challenging opponent yet, being the Oklahoma City Thunder, who at this point, yes, they might have been 5-1, but they are by far the best team in the West and debatably the best team in the league. Even while missing Chet Holmgren, they are a team to not be played with. Both teams have MVP candidates in Shea and Giannis. This was going to be a battle for the ages. And both MVPs in that first quarter showed out, with Giannis having 6 points and Shea having 10, and the Thunder being up by 1. In the second half, it was more of the same. Now the Milwaukee Bucks taking a 1-point lead, but that would be the end of the Thunder's fortune. The Thunder proceeded to not be able to shoot the ball for the rest of the game, being down by 22 points at one point, and they're struggling to shoot really came to bite them in the ass, shooting 5 of 32 from 3, and they couldn't climb out of that hole, and the Bucks held OKC to a season-low 81 points, and winning the second ever NBA Cup, 97-81, with Giannis having 26 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists, and being named the NBA Cup MVP, and with an undefeated record of 7-0. Now it's time for the head-to-head battle between the two NBA Cup champions, 2023 Los Angeles Lakers and the 2024 Milwaukee Bucks. And to get us started, in Game 1 of this 7-game series, the Milwaukee Bucks make their presence felt, taking a commanding 18-point lead with 3 minutes left, and the Lakers do not have a solution for Damian Lillard, and there is no fake comeback for the Los Angeles Lakers, losing Game 1 121-100, with the Milwaukee Bucks being led by Damian Lillard, who had 42 points, 7 assists, and 3 steals, and Giannis Antetokounmpo with 34 points and 13 rebounds, with Chris Middleton with 13 points. On the Lakers side of things, it was LeBron and AD taking charge, with Anthony Davis having 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks, and LeBron right behind him with 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, and D'Lo was there with 15 points. With Game 2 underway, the Los Angeles Lakers are fighting back, being up by 3 with 3 minutes to go, and it would be the stars of both teams taking over, with LeBron and AD combining for 18 out of the Lakers' 29 points in the fourth, and Giannis and Dame combining for 30 out of the 32 points in the fourth quarter, but it still wasn't enough. The Los Angeles Lakers winning Game 2, 130-124, on the backs of LeBron and AD once again, with LeBron having 30 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and Anthony Davis with 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks, and D'Angelo Russell yet again with 20 points and 4 assists. And the Bucks side of things, they had 3 players scoring 30 plus, with Giannis with 32 points and 10 rebounds, and Damian Lillard with 31 points and 12 assists, and Gary Trent Jr. with 30 points, going 4 for 4 from 3. Now Game 3 underway, series tied, and the Bucks strike again, being up by 8 points with 3 minutes to go, but the Lakers aren't backing down, hitting a quick 3 in this game to be down only by 4. And the Bucks needed a bucket to end the Lakers' run, to give the ball to Dame to seal the game, and for the Bucks to take a 2-1 series lead. And in this game, Damian Lillard once again put up a masterclass with 37 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. Giannis right behind him with 30 points, 19 rebounds, and 12 assists, and Chris Middleton with 17 points. Yet again, LeBron and AD dominated this game with 30 points from AD, 13 rebounds and 4 blocks. LeBron right behind him with 29 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and Hachimura had 14 points. In Game 4, the Lakers find themselves down 2-1, and the Bucks absolutely embarrassed themselves in this Game 4 in their home court, with being down by 27 in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers giving belt to ass the entire second half, outscoring the Bucks by 25, as the Lakers evened the series at 2 apiece. In this game, LeBron and AD finally had some help, even though LeBron had 34 points, 11 rebounds and 6 assists, D'Lo right behind him with 28 points and 6 assists, and Anthony Davis with 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And on the Bucks side of things, Giannis had no help at all, with Giannis having 32 points and 12 rebounds, 8 assists. Damian Lillard only had 15 points in this game, and Gary Trent Jr. stepped up again with 14 points, going 4 of 5 from 3. In Game 5 being one of the most important games in the series, the Lakers find themselves down by 20 at one point, but in classic Laker fashion, they like to try to make a comeback towards the end of the game, being only down by 9 points with 2.5 minutes left. The Lakers firing on all sides, 3 after 3, to bring them down by 4 with 2 seconds left. In the Bucks being up by 4 points, they decide to leave Austin Reeves wide open, and whatever happens to avoid any foul calls for the Bucks to take Game 5, 139 to 138, with Giannis and Dame putting up an absolute masterclass. Damian Lillard having 47 points and 7 assists, Giannis having 43 points, 10 rebounds and 7 assists, with Chris Middleton having 14 points and 11 assists. It was the Lakers stars yet again, LeBron having 36 points and 12 assists, Anthony Davis with 26 points, 13 rebounds and 8 blocks, and D'Lo with 18 points and 8 assists. The Lakers are down 3-2 in this series. In a must-win Game 6, the Bucks kicked their ass in the first quarter, taking a 40-18 lead, which is a 22-point lead, and it never looked back, with the largest lead being 34. The Lakers had no match for Giannis and the Bucks, who end up taking Game 6, winning the series 4-2, being crowned the better NBA Cup champions, with Giannis Antetokounmpo absolutely putting belt to ass and dicking down the entire Lakers defense, having 54 points, 17 rebounds and 9 assists, with Dame having 27 points and 9 assists, and AJ Green with 19 points. And then the Lakers in this absolute blowout, it was Anthony Davis with 28 points, 8 rebounds and 2 blocks. Austin Reeves makes an appearance here with 22 points and 7 assists, and LeBron had 22 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. And the Milwaukee Bucks being crowned the NBA Cup champions, with Giannis being MVP with 37.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, shooting 62% from the field, 75% from the free throw line, and 47% from 3 to be crowned the NBA Cup champions. And there you have it, guys. The showdown between the LA Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks comes to a conclusion with the Milwaukee Bucks winning, and Darvin Ham as an assistant coach being better than as a head coach. And if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more. Let me know what teams you guys would like to see me do this with next. And as always, go hard on them dudes. Salute.